Our next honoree tonight, Pensky McGraw. Ellen's education at Cal Poly was the foundation for a notable career in marketing and public relations. She founded Bumblebee Marketing Services nearly a quarter century ago to meet public relations, digital marketing, and event needs for major tech clients. She and her firm have received multiple awards. Those of you who know her know she's also a tireless supporter of the journalism department. She has served on the advisory board for 10 years or more, worked on the 100 years of Mustang News and KCPR events, and also was responsible for founding the Inspire mentorship program designed to match students with industry professionals to give them a leg up on their future career. Here's more on the soundtrack of Ellen's career.
It's a funny story, but I wanted to be on the yearbook in high school, and they said there was too many people, so why don't you be on newspaper? And I said, I don't know anything about newspaper. And so they said, well, just stay here, and then you can, and then we'll try to transfer you. And then they said, well, as long as you're sitting here, why don't you write some articles? And I said, I don't know how to write articles. And so I did, and by the end of the week, I was hooked. And it became my career. And then I went to Cal Poly, started writing for Mustang Daily, but what my real love was magazine and feature stories. So I started writing a lot of feature stories. It's a magazine called Outpost at the time, and I worked on that all of my years at Cal Poly and was editor my last year. I think what was interesting for me was telling the story with both writing and graphics, that we were doing that back then. And so I worked very closely with the graphics team and the graphics department and putting the magazine together, and I loved it. When I was a student, nobody was helping me get jobs. So that's why I wanted to start the mentorship program, which is called Inspire. I have personally mentored many students and then hired many of them for internships at my company. I think working with them and sharing my expertise of how to work in the real world and just helping the students and understanding what their goals are and then helping them to get jobs, and the ones that I've worked with, watching them grow and become successul. I'm very honored and flattered, and it feels really good. I care about giving back. I've always been very involved in my community, and with Cal Poly. Giving back, I think, is important in today's world. I'm happy to do that, and I think it's nice that they're honoring me. Totally unexpected and totally surprised.
It's always good to be last, right? And I have to follow Kevin Falls. But anyway, I'm here to tell you that there is life after Building 26. Though when you're 22 years old, it can be hard to imagine. The 70s, when I was in school, were boom times for journalism at Cal Poly, and the music was really the soundtrack of our lives. These weren't just songs on the radio or from the record player. They were the background music to late nights, big moments, and many long-lasting friendships. I'm proud to be honored alongside fellow alumni like Claudia, Pete, and Tracy, who all helped shape that era. And I can't forget our other Hall of Famers from our generation, Susan Houghton, Mark Looker, Dave Curley, Kevin Riggs, and Weird Al Yankovic. He keeps coming up, right? So yes, Weird Al's My Bologna song was recorded right here at Cal Poly. Proof that humor, creativity, and a little weirdness are part of the magic too. In fact, The Long and Winding Road by the Beatles perfectly captures what it felt like to be a college student finding her way. I fell in love with journalism by accident, as you heard in the video. In high school, I was placed in newspaper class by mistake, and I agreed to stay there until the teachers could figure it out. I started writing articles. I didn't know what I was doing, but by the end of the week, I was hooked, and I was named editor the next year. That was my stairway to heaven moment, as Led Zeppelin might say. I had found my passion. At Cal Poly, I lived in the journalism and graphics departments, writing for Mustang Daily and creating the Outpost magazine. I loved feature writing, and by my senior year, I became editor of Outpost. I want to share a couple favorite memories of the times there. One time I had a late night call from the department head. His name was John Healy at the time. Never a good sign. He asked me to come down to the printing press where the issue of Outpost was being printed. In fact, this is that issue. It featured a student who was relying on the oldest profession to cover her tuition. He said, "We can't publish that." I said, "Yes, we can. I have her signed permission, her face is not showing, we've taken all the necessary precautions, and after some hand-wringing, the press is rolled. Lessons learned, always have your facts and your permissions straight." And the song that I heard that night in my head, and I still hear, "I Will Survive" by Gloria Gaynor. Another unforgettable experience, I was asked to write a feature story for a project on Hearst Castle becoming a National Historic Landmark. I spent the day with William Randolph Hearst's personal rose gardener, who shared beautiful stories about Mr. Hearst. To this day, every time I hear "I Never Promised You a Rose Garden" by Lynn Anderson, I think of that assignment. I wrote for local publications, and just before graduation, landed a job at the Slow Chamber. I wrote newsletters, press releases, sold memberships, and helped promote the new wine country. Think about that. And those now iconic Slow t-shirts. Eventually, I headed to the Bay Area, where I spent the next 35 years in PR and marketing. First in real estate companies, then in tech. I got married, had a daughter, and ran a tech marketing company all at once. I founded my agency, Bumblebee Marketing, and spent 25 years helping clients in the tech world create buzz through campaigns, videos, websites, and events. I didn't have a business plan. I always told my students and kids that I talked to that I had instincts, creativity, and a great network, but I wished I had taken some more business classes at Cal Poly, which I didn't. But yes, you can do it all, and I did. I wanted to be a strong role model for my daughter. My daughter is with me here tonight, as well as my husband, my sister, dear friends, and the incredible women of the Journalism Ladies Caucus, as Tracy mentioned. Thank you for being here. As Stevie Wonder sang, "You are all the sunshine of my life." I never forgot what Cal Poly gave me, the freedom to learn by doing. What I didn't have was a mentor, especially a female mentor. And that's one of the reasons why when I joined the Journalism Advisory Board and later started the mentorship program, I'm very proud to say that it's still going strong after probably about 10 years. So I'm very proud of that. And as Carole King sang, "Where you lead, I will follow." It's an honor to be inducted into this Hall of Fame. I've loved giving back, whether it was planning the 100-year celebration, organizing KCPR events, or mentoring the students. So I want to leave you with 3 pieces of advice for students, young journalists, PR professionals, or anyone writing their next chapter. Number 1, be curious. Keep asking questions. Curiosity fuels great journalism and great lives. Number 2, build your integrity before your brand. Let your work and your words speak louder than your resume or your follower count. And number 3, say yes before you're ready. You don't need to have it all figured out. You need to take the leap, and you'll be surprised where it takes you. Tonight, as I stand here, I still hear the soundtrack of my life, of the memories, of the growth and gratitude. And for everyone writing their story right now, choose your soundtrack wisely, because one day, those songs won't just remind you of where you were, but they'll show you how far you've come. As Fleetwood Mac and this Hall of Famer would say, don't stop believing.